Alrighty, guys. Um, the first thing that I want to talk today is about the NAR lawsuit. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. So they're saying the lawsuit consists that a bunch of sellers they sue a few of the bigger brokerage and the NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, and claiming that they were overpaying on the commission and there was an antitrust issue that the buyers and the seller were getting into agreement to upcharge the commissions, and now they're saying that the seller cannot pay the buyer's agent commission. It has to be by the buyer. That has to be paid by the buyer and not by the seller. Now, there's a lot of stuff that has changed. They're saying that a lot of people is saying that now we need to charge the buyers, which in reality is being like that most of the time. It is on the buyer's rep agreement that we have. The only thing that is common practice, or let's say most of the transaction, the seller offers the buyer's agent to bring a buyer. That's how it works. There's some other states that they don't do it that way. They don't have a rep agreement. They don't have anything. They disclose everything on the MLS like we do, but they don't have a rep agreement. And on the listing agreement, looks like they don't have the paragraph where it says how the commission is gonna be paid between the agents. So they don't have that in some other state, from what is my understanding coming from the lawsuit and what they settle. In our market, that's not gonna change a lot because we already have in the listing agreement that how we're gonna pay the commission. So we typically charge 6% is the average. Some people charge more, some people charge less, but the average I would say for Texas is 6%, and it already says on the listing agreement that we are going to be paying 3% to the buyer's agent. So that is in place already. Nothing is going to change in our part about that. Now, the other thing is that on the buyer's rep agreement, we already have that the buyer is responsible for whatever amount percentage that we would like to charge to the buyers. There's some agents out there that they put 3% on the listing agreement, on the buyer's rep agreement. She's coming? Okay.
Yeah.
They put the 3% on the listing agreement, and then the listing agent is paying only 2.5%, so they charge the 0.5% back to the buyers to come up with the 3%. There's some agents that do that, and it's totally okay to do it. That obviously come up how much value you bring to your clients, so you're actually able to do that. On the market side of it, I don't see that changing too much on how we're gonna do business, at least here in Texas. There's gonna be some sellers that are gonna be, you know what, I don't wanna pay the 6% commission, I don't wanna pay the buyer's agent, I wanna pay just the seller. Hey, good morning. I don't wanna pay the buyer's agent, I just wanna pay the seller. There's gonna be some agents, some sellers that are definitely gonna do that. Now, it comes to the listing agent to fight for the buyer's agent, or it comes to the listing agent to actually find the buyer. How often that happens? Not too often. In our market, it's not gonna happen very often. It already happened with the for sale by owners, Facebooks. You know how many for sale by owners actually sell the house by themselves? Take a guess. 10%? 20%? You? 10? 2? You?
5.
Take a guess. 10?
I want to say like 4 out of 10 people.
3 to 5% of the for sale by owner actually sold the house by themselves, and typically is with a buyer's agent.
With the buyer?
With a buyer's agent. So a buyer that a realtor that actually bring a buyer to the for sale by owner. But only 5%, 3 to 5% actually sell the house by themselves, and that is coming from NAR statistics. So those are actually statistics that you can find out there. They were saying a lot that because now the sellers are not paying the buyer's agent commission, that the houses are gonna drop on the prices. That's not going to happen. It's not gonna get better for the buyers. It's not gonna get worse for the buyers. They're just moving the paperwork from the seller paying the commission out of the proceeds to the buyer coming up with the money out of pocket, or somehow, and this is where the realtors come with the value, making the commission part of the deal. Does that make sense? Okay? So what is gonna happen is like, okay, you know what, seller, I'm not gonna pay anything to the buyer's agent. So you need to figure it out. You charge it to the buyer. What is going to happen, and it happens already, is okay, I'm gonna agree on a price. Let's say 300,000. You agree with the terms. You're not paying my commission. Nothing is gonna happen. So now we agree on the 300,000, so now I'm gonna add the 3% on top of the 300,000, and that's gonna be the sales price, and then you get the 3% back to the agent. That's gonna be the seller contribution to the buyer. That's it. Is it gonna drop the price?
You will add it on top of it.
That's it. So it can be part of the loan. It can be part of the transaction. You get paid. The buyer doesn't come with the money out of pocket, and everybody's happy. The sellers brought the lawsuit thinking that now that we don't need to pay the buyer's agent commission, now the buyer can come directly to me, and I can save that money because I'm not paying the buyers anymore. So I can actually get more money out of it. That's on the seller side. On the buyer side, they're thinking that now because the seller is not paying the 3% commission, it can be credited to the buyers. The buyers are thinking, and that is out there, that they're gonna be paying less because now there's one of the realtors that is not involved in the transaction. So therefore, the price of the house should come down at least 3%, right? Wrong. The whole reason of the lawsuit is because sellers are saying that they're paying too much and they're not getting enough money, so they want more money out of the house. That's the whole reason of the lawsuit. They're claiming that they're overpaying on the commission and they want to pay less because they want to pocket more money.
Did he say in what state?
Yeah, what's the...
There was a antitrust, I can't remember the state, but since it was a class lawsuit,
Yeah.
it applied to the whole United States because they involved the NAR, which is the National Association of the Realtors, which is one of the entities that rules the real estate.
So is that only gonna be for sellers? Like if I'm helping someone sell their house and I don't wanna have like a buyer, like, is that what it is, that I don't want him to get paid even though they're bringing someone in?
Yeah, that's the thing is that the sellers are claiming that they don't want to pay the commission of the buyer's agent. That should be on the buyer's expenses.
So usually, until today, the seller always pay for both commissions, the seller and the buyer.
That's the normal practice, that me as a listing agent, I'm charging 6% to sell the house to the seller. I'm charging 6% to the seller, and then from my commission, buyer's agent, if they bring me a buyer and we close escrow.
Okay.
But in reality, me as a realtor is the one paying the 3% to the buyer's agent.
So now if you have a listing, you will say, you charge 3% to the seller, just 3% for listing the property, and the buyer has to figure it out, they pay for his.
That's what they're hoping for. That's not what's gonna happen.
Do you think they would negotiate since it's negotiable? Like,
Everything is negotiable on real estate. Everything you can negotiate. So okay, there's some agents out there that they charge 7% to sell a house. There's some agents that charge 2% to sell a house. There's some agents that they charge $1,000 flat fee to lease a house on the MLS. So that's negotiable. Now you get what you pay for, right? So there's some agents out there that they charge 7%, they pay 3% to the buyers, and they keep 4%. There's agents that do that, and that is actually how it is already on the commercial real estate. We never know how much we're gonna get paid. It's not on CoStar, which is the MLS for commercial. It's not on CoStar. It's not on LoopNet. It's not on Crexy. It's not on any website that you can find commercial real estate. The only place that you can find the commission on a commercial real estate is on the MLS. Other than that, I see a property, my client want it, I call the agent, hey, this is Sergio, I'm a realtor in the area, I'm looking at your listing at 123 Main Street, how much are you paying commission? That's my opening. Literally, that's my opening. Oh, I'm paying 3%. Okay, cool. I had a client interest, blah, blah, and then I start asking questions after the fact. So that's how it is in commercial already. They charge 3%, they charge 4%, 6%. On my last transaction in a commercial, I charge 4% for my buyer on a lease. They didn't even hesitate to pay the 4%.
So how much was it for the buyer, for the buyer's agent?
The listing agent paid me the 4%. The landlord paid me the 4%. So I didn't charge anything to my client. That's just how it is in commercial. So it's gonna be about the same on residential. Now the thing is that every change is hard for people. People don't like changes, so people is gonna make some resistance to it. But at the end of the day, we're gonna get used to it. It's gonna be how business is gonna be. And for us, the only thing that changed is that we cannot promote it on the MLS. You can have it on your website, you can have it on your marketing, you can have it anywhere. The only place that you cannot put the 3% is on the MLS. Go ahead.
So let's say you have a client and they like this house, but then you don't know if they're gonna pay you 10%, whatever, you know.
Mhm.
Can you call the listing agent before showing the house?
That's how it needs to be.
That's how it's
So before you showing the houses, you call the listing agent. Hey, are you paying buyers commission? Yes or no? How much? Okay. At that point, guys, and this is starting. Okay, they are planning to settle the lawsuit. They submit the paperwork, but still the judge and the court has to approve it, and the court hasn't approved it yet. Okay, so it has to be approved, and if it does, it's gonna start July 24th. Now we need to start thinking already that way, like today. We need to start working that way, and we need to start working towards that change. So what is gonna happen is that yes, you need to call every listing agent. Hey, are you paying how much? Yes, no. Now, if you call them over the phone, right away send an email. Hey, this is Nayeli from 16100 Realty Group with JPAR. As we spoke over the phone, right now you're paying 3% on your listing on 123 Main Street. Please reply to this email to confirm. If they don't reply, they hasn't confirmed. They
Just
have to
text
reply.
word,
Yeah.
you get text word.
Yes, same
Something
thing.
writing.
Something in writing. They can put it on a napkin. If both signs, that's a contract, literally, and it can hold in court. I have literally seen people making contract in the bar, in a napkin, both signs, boom. Let's go. That happened. Go ahead.
What if they say no and then our client?
Then that is your choice if you want to still representing the buyer and showing the house, letting them know, hey, this realtor is not paying the buyer's commission. You have the ability to either pay me the 3% and or I can still show you the house, but now if you decide to proceed with the seller, then you're not going to be represented. You're going to be on your own.
I read that if they buy the house that you show them, even if they're not represented, still own the commission.
If you have the buyer's agreement and you put it on your buyer's agreement, you can still pursue the commission. Yes. But that is up to you if you want to pursue the commission. And that happens very often. In bigger transactions, let's say $10 million where the commission is 30, 40, 50,000, believe me, I'm going to court. 5,000, 3,000, probably not. But now you can put it on your buyers, and here comes your value add to your buyers. So let's say one buyer tell me, hey, you know what, I do want the house. What is the benefit of me using you as a realtor? You can tell them, and this is something that I will be telling my buyers. There's no value you bringing me as a realtor. The only thing is that you're gonna be unrepresented on a transaction. Now let's flip the coin. Let's say you get on a lawsuit, somebody sue you. Let's say somebody fall on your house, now they want to sue you. You need to go to court. And you say, you know what, I don't want to pay an attorney because I can represent myself. It's your right. But I have never been in court. And then the person that is suing me, they are bringing an attorney. How are you going to feel in court during the case when the person suing you is represented by a professional and you are by yourself that you have no clue what you're doing? How do you feel about that? You're gonna lose. Exactly. You are gonna lose right off the bat. So why you wanna go to court unrepresented when you know as a fact that the person on the other side is looking for blood? They're looking for more money. That's why 100% of the expired listings expire because they overpriced the house. They want more money out of the house. That's literally why it doesn't sell. 95% of the FISBOs for sale by owners, they don't sell by themselves. Why? I'm dealing right now with a FISBO that he listed for $369 and it's actually worth it $305. How about that?
So, okay, you're saying that if for you, the listing agent, right? You're the listing agent. You either agree to pay the buyer's agent by putting it on the price.
Mm-hmm.
But what about if I'm representing the buyer? How would my buyer get 3%? I mean, like, how would they pay me?
Okay. The only thing about the commission is that it cannot be marketed on the MLS. You can still put it on the CDA. You can still put it on the contract, and I'm pretty sure that they're gonna come with a new amendment or a new addendum to the contract to specifically say that the seller is paying the 3% or whatever percent to the buyer's agent. So I'm pretty confident they're gonna come up with a new addendum. But we can still put it on the CDA. we can still put it on the contract. The only place that we cannot put it is on the MLS. So based on that, as of today, nothing is going to change. We're still doing the contracts the same way. The only thing is that now, after July 24, if the court agree on the approved agreement, now you need to email or text the listing agent asking to how much they're gonna pay, and then you put it on an agreement, and then you put it on the contract. By then, I'm pretty confident they're gonna come up with addendum if this actually goes through. They just send it a referral agreement. You send a referral agreement, they agree to pay you 30% of the commission whenever they close the client. It's the same thing. Okay. Now, how do you get paid on the buyer side? There's two options. Number one, and the easiest one, they pay out of pocket. They come up with the down payment. They come with the closing costs, referring to lender origination fees on title, and buyer's commission, realtor commission, 3%. Now that's going to increase the closing cost to the buyers. The other way, that's actually how wholesalers do it. They agree with the seller on a price, and then they put the commission on top of it. And that's it. So we agree on 300,000. You're the seller, I'm the wholesaler. He's my buyer, right? So I'm connecting the two of them. Wholesalers right now, what they do is they either do a double closing where we close the house, I buy the property, and then I turn around and I sell it to him. I sign here, buy, I literally turn around and sell. That's called a double closing. That's pretty normal on real estate. The other way they do it is that they assign the contract. So they assign the contract, they put on the name of the buyer is gonna be John Doe or assigned. They put the house on the contract, they sell it, I sell it, I put the house on the contract, I sell it to Henry. Now I send a new addendum, hey, I wanna change the name on the contract from Sergio or assigned to Henry. And then for him to buy me the contract, he need to give me a check for $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is. That's how wholesalers do it. On our side, it's going to be, and that's how it is on commercial, we agree on a price. Okay, fantastic. Now, we agree on 300,000. I'm gonna actually send you the contract for 310, so I can include my commission on the sales price. And then I'm gonna get paid $10,000 closing. The buyer doesn't need to come up with the money out of pocket. The seller is not paying the commission because you already agree on the 300,000, and I get paid. Does that make sense?
So let's say that this goes through and in July you have a listing. Do you supposed to tell the seller that he is not required anymore to pay for the agent's buyer, or they don't even know, or you don't even mention it, or what?
The thing is that on the 6% you're negotiating your commission, not the buyer's agent commission. Think about that. You're negotiating your commission, and from your commission, you decide to pay a realtor that brings you a buyer. If you actually find the buyer and close the buyer, that happens, you can keep the 6%. They already agreed to pay the 6%. Does that make sense? So, now it is already on the agreement that we disclose already that we are paying the buyer's agent the 3%. That is coming from other states that they weren't doing that before. So that's why the antitrust is coming up on the lawsuit, because they weren't seeing where the money was going They didn't know that the listing agent was paying the buyer's agent the commission, but they were marketing it on the MLS. So they're like, so you're telling me that you're paying somebody else to do your job, but then I didn't know anything about it. What's going on? So that is the thing with that lawsuit, because other states weren't disclosing that. We in Texas, we don't have that problem because we already disclose what's going on. Okay? Now, what's gonna happen with the sellers that doesn't want to pay the 6%? They want you to sell the house. They want you to buy the buyer, to find the buyer. I'm still gonna change the 6%. I'm still gonna charge the 6%. Now what's gonna happen? Okay, let's say you have a listing. Where do you live?
Arlington.
In Arlington. Okay. Let's say you have a listing in Mansfield. 20-minute drive. Right? Now, a buyer calls you, hey, I don't have a realtor. Can you show me the house? You're gonna go drive 20 minutes. 3 p.m. Whatever day, let's say Saturday. Right? Now another buyer calls you. Hey, I wanna see the house. Oh yeah, sure, I'm gonna be there at 3. Yeah, but I cannot make it at 3, I can make it at 5. Now they block your calendar from 3 to 5. So from 3:30 to 5, you cannot go too far because you gotta go back, or you cannot do anything at your house. You can even start cooking because in 1 hour you have to go back to the. You gotta go back to your listing, right? What's gonna happen? On the first one, cool. The second one, the third one, you know what? Go get a realtor and I'm gonna pay him. Go get a realtor to show you the house. I cannot right now. I'm showing a buyer. I'm not available.
So in the beginning, it will be like that, like
Some
some sellers.
sellers.
But do you think like most of them don't think that way it's an advantage? Because I was thinking that they were gonna be like every seller's agent, not the buyer's agent, not like
The percentage of the listings that actually sell by the same agent is very slim. Is very few. So that is already not happening.
So we shouldn't be too much worried about it.
So it is already happening that majority of the houses are selling with 2 agents. Already. Are there gonna be some listing agents that are gonna be shady about it? 100%. 100%. There's some shady realtors out there. Are they gonna try to play with the commission? Yes. 100%. That's why you need to put everything in writing. Text message, email, the printout from the website. That's why we tell whenever you're showing a house, you need to print the MLS. That was before, now you need to have it in writing on an email or text message where they actually agree to pay the commission. At the beginning, there's going to be some sellers saying, yeah, you know what, I don't want to pay the buyer's agent, blah, blah, blah. You sell it yourself. There's going to be some out there. Those are called Fishbowls. They don't want to pay the realtor already. How is it going for them? 95% are failing on the try, isn't it? Okay, let it be.
And if you have a buyer, again, after this gets approved or whatever, you don't need to tell them, now you have to pay me. Before the seller used to pay, but now they change and you don't have to disclose that, right?
Now, what is going to happen is that you need to sell the buyer the same way you sell a listing. You need to show them your value. You need to show them, hey, if this doesn't happen, expect that you need to come up with the money out of pocket, or I won't be able to represent you. It's the same thing to an attorney. Attorneys are even worse. They charge you a retainer before you walk out the door on the orientation. Hey, before you leave me a $5,000 check at the entrance. When you spend, because they charge by the hour, when you spend the $5,000, hey, you have spent already $4,500. If you want me to continue with the case, deposit another $500, another $5,000. Oh shit! There you go. Rather you win or you lose the case. And 50% of the time, you have 50% chances of losing. So we provide a service.
Because, when I bought the house that we live in, I mean, like, I assumed that I was gonna pay the guy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it never occurs to me, like, oh, who's gonna pay? But I knew that he was gonna charge me something. So I don't even know, honestly, if that money came from the seller or came from me or who the money came from. But as a buyer, I would think that I'm gonna, if I'm, you are gonna be my realtor, I assume that you're gonna charge me something, for sure. I mean, I won't be like, oh, no, I'm not paying, it's like, I know.
Well, the thing is that it's a common practice that realtors market out there that buyers get represented for free. So we realtors has been the one shooting ourselves in the foot, because we are the ones saying, hey buyer, use me, it doesn't cost you anything. Yes, it does. You're paying 30 years interest on that commission. It's roll up on your loan. Yes, you are. As a matter of fact, I'd rather you pay that up front if you have the money, so you're not paying interest on the commission as well. Think about that. But realtor has been marketing, no, it's free for the buyers. No, it's not. You don't see the money because it's not coming out of your pocket at closing, right? But they are paying. That is the antitrust, and that is the clarity that the Department of Justice is looking for. Transparency. They want the realtors to be 100% transparent about how they're getting the commission, how the commission is getting paid, and who's charging the commission and who's paying the commission. But in reality, not even the seller is paying the commission. It's coming out of the transaction itself. He never owned that money. He never did. He never does. You always have closing costs. Even if you refinance, you have equity on your house. Fantastic. You have 20% minus title closing costs and loan closing costs. Do they roll it in the loan again? Yes, they do. You're still paying for it. You're still paying interest on it, don't you? So it's coming out of the transaction, it's coming out of the asset, it's coming out of the real estate. It's not coming out of nobody's pocket. So sellers in reality are saying that, yeah, fantastic. It feels like you have that money, but in reality you don't. Now on the buyer's agent, on the buyer side, you decide if you want to pay more for the house or you want to pay less. Let's say a fishbowl, typically they're between 10 to 15% overpriced. That's why they don't sell. So do you want to pay 10-15% overpriced on the house, or you pay 3% on the realtor? For me, that's a win-win. You know who feel the pain of going unrepresented to buy a house? Buyers that are going to new construction by themselves, because they think that they say, hey, I don't need a realtor, I can just walk in and they're gonna help me. Do you really think that the sales rep is helping the buyers? No, who's cutting their check? The seller, exactly. So why are they gonna represent the buyer? No, they're always looking for blood. All the time. You as a buyer, why you wanna go by yourself to a fight that you have your hands tied? Or handcuffed? Why? I don't. Mention me one person that is happy buying a car from a dealership. That is happy. Right? 99% of the car buyers say that motherfucker screwed me up. Right? Why is that different with a house? Exactly. Why is that gonna be different with a seller? That the whole reason for the lawsuit is getting paid more money. They want to get more money out of the buyer. Why you want to go by yourself? Oh, because you bought a house before? Because you bought a house 10 years ago? And you know how to do it? Even though new agents, let's say you, how many transactions you have right now? 3, 4, 5? Like 5, give and take, in 1 year. Even though she's considered new with 5 transactions, she has way more experience than a buyer, than a homeowner. Because she did 5 transactions in a short period of time, that homeowner made that transaction many years ago. Still, they use a realtor and they don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes. Do you tell every single step on that transaction? No, you don't. A lot of the time, you're taking a lot of shit on the transaction before you actually go to your client, hey, this is what's going on. But guess what? I figured it out already. Right? You don't tell them anything. Exactly. That's your duty. That's your duty. I'm paying you for figuring shit out. Now that happens so often. That happens so often behind the scenes on the realtor side that the client never know what really goes on a transaction. They really believe that we're just pushing papers around. They really believe that. My best example, my dad. I told him many times, hey, find a realtor and let him help you sell the house. I used to be a broker. Yeah, but that was 90 years ago. You're not even close. I'm gonna do it by myself. I know what I'm doing. Okay, fantastic. 3 days later, ring, hello. Hey son, why do I do this? Oh, I thought you didn't need a realtor. What happened? And we're spending hours on the phone. He did sold it for sale by owner. He still used a realtor on the buyer side. It took him 2 years.
I have a question about that. If at
2 years.
that point, for sale by owner, you now are working with the buyer, right? So how does that go about like paperwork and all that stuff? Like,
What do you mean?
if you're just like negotiating with the seller
Uh-huh.
and you're like, there's not a realtor on the other side.
You write the offer. If you're the buyers dealing directly with the offer, with the seller, you write the offer. Now on the realtor information, you put that you're only representing the buyer. if you're the listing agent and you're helping the buyer, you write the offer for the buyer, and then you just put that you're representing just the seller. So they already know that the buyer is unrepresented or the seller is unrepresented.
But I would have to gather like more information from the seller, right? And what if the seller is lying to me? I need documentation.
That's a really solid foundation for a lawsuit. And that happens more often than not. Especially here in the United States, people is happy trigger.
Everything is
Here in the United States, people is happy trigger. They love suing the hell out of people. We all are Hispanics and we don't see that in our country.
no, because we're afraid.
But here,
Our people's so afraid.
they are. They sue for anything. You cut them on traffic and they see that it's a business company, they're calling the hell out of the owner and threatening people to sue. And I saw it. I used to work with a pool company.
Bad reviews.
I used to work with a pool company with my friend. We were on his truck. It's his company. It's all wrapped. And the fucker liked to cut people off and he's a bad driver, let's say, right? They were calling the number. He was picking up. Hey, 123 Pools, how can I help you? Hey, you, one of your motherfucker employees called me on the highway. That was me. Oh, yeah, really? What he did? No, he did that. And if I see him again, I'm gonna sue you. Okay, cool. I'll let him know. I'm gonna fire him. Boom. Just like that. So people like to sue here in the United States. They do. That's why you need to prepare your clients on the buyer side. And I know all of you guys are more stronger right now on the buyer side. So you need to really prepare the buyers on what they're going to. There's a lot of ways to negotiate the commission and put it on the transaction. And the other thing is that, and this is something that I learned yesterday, that they believe that even though they're not paying the buyer's commission, the house is still gonna appraise because they run the comps, they run the appraisal out of comps, right? So they compare all the houses are selling for 300,000 and that's what it is, right? No, they look at everything. So they look at the sales price, but they also look at the concessions. That's why the appraisal, they get the full executed contract with all the amendments and everything. Because they want to see that we put the house for 300,000, but then the seller gave me 10,000 back. So they're putting the actual value of that property at 290,000, not 300. Because the house actually sold for the 290 because you're giving the buyer 10,000 in concession. So that's the actual value. So the seller is not getting everything. He's not getting away with it. That's what the people that did the lawsuit, that's what they believe. They believe that the house is still going to appraise. But in reality, it's not.
So until everything changes or the court approves the deal, if the MLS says that they are paying 2% to the buyer's agent, you can still negotiate that. You can call and say, I charge you the 3 or something, or
You can negotiate with the listing agent. You can. And there has been some cases that they're paying very little and the house has been sitting on the market. Hey, you know what? I had a buyer for you. Your house has been sitting on the market for 90 days, but I charge 3%. Can you pay me that? You know what? Yeah. Okay, let's go. I have personally come up with money for the buyers from my commission just to save the deal. Let's say the house didn't appraise. It is 5,000 short. The seller doesn't want to budge. The seller doesn't want to come down 5,000. It's like, you know what? It came 5,000, I don't care. The buyer needs to pay for it out of pocket. I know as a realtor that the buyer doesn't have the money. Hey, realtor, you know what? Here's the deal. The seller doesn't want to pay the 5,000. He doesn't want to lower the price, and my buyer doesn't have it. We can go 50-50 or we cancel the contract. Fuck. Can you do 70-30? 50-50. Okay, I'll put 2,500. And we save the deal. At the end of the day, I want to save the deal. I'm not gonna let my buyer cancel the contract for 2,500, even for my full commission. I've been willing to put my full commission on the line for my buyers, and I will. If I have to, I will. I was willing. I have one case, one of my friends, a personal friend, that actually that same thing happens. The house came 10,000 short, and that was a kind of weird scenario. We appraised the house. It came right on the dollar. It goes back to the lender. The appraisal goes back to the lender, and they say, hey, you know what? If it would have come $1 less or $1 more, we would have been fine, but because it came right on the dollar, it's triggering a flag that we need to do a second appraisal. When they do the second appraisal, it came back 10,000 lower. Now, of course, the lender is gonna use the lowest one. I have notified the listing agent already that the appraisal came good. After the fact, we're heading to closing. They came back, hey, you know what? Actually, this happened and the appraisal came back 10,000 lower. I'm gonna send you the amendment in a few for the 10,000 cut. Of course, I knew that. It was like, hey, no. We're not cutting 10,000. What do you think? No, but it came 10,000 lower the appraisal. Yeah, but you told me that we had an appraisal already. Yeah, but that's on the lender. That's not me. So we were going back and forth, and he was like, I'm not gonna agree to anything because we don't even have a clear to close. So I was talking to the lender, and I told him, hey, you know what? My clients were tight on money. They were like, damn, but we don't have the money. I was like, you know what? Can you find 3,500 more? I'm gonna put the 75, 2,500 for them. No, but Sergio, you're gonna give up your whole commission, your whole pay? I'm like, I don't care. If you cancel the contract, I'm not gonna get paid anyways. So I rather you have the house, and now you're gonna send me a lot of referrals, so I'm gonna make the money back, versus me not getting paid anyways, and now you don't have the house, and now you lose the option money, you lose the earnest money, you lose the appraisal money, you lose the inspection money. So you're out already 4,000 or 5,000. I'm not gonna get paid, and you don't get the house. Might as well get the house. Throw 1,000 barbecues and invite me. Pay me the beers. Whiskey at least. So I was willing to put my commission on the line When we got the clear to close, I asked the listing agent, hey dude, help me with something. I'm putting my whole commission. Let me at least getting paid something. I talked to the seller. So when we got the clear to close, I asked the listing agent, hey dude, help me with something. I'm putting my whole commission. Let me at least getting paid something. I talked to the seller. So my client actually found the 5,000 extra, and the seller agreed to lower 5,000 after we got the clear to close. So I was able to not pay my commission, but I was willing to put my commission on the line for them. Would have hurt? 9,000 times. But it already happens. So what I want to come up to this is that we need to change the mindset that we have, and you need to come up with the mindset that the client needs you. You don't need the client. They need you. You are the one doing real estate on a daily basis. They're not. They might do 1 or 2 transactions in a lifetime. Most of the buyers. How many first-time home buyers have you been working with? Most of them. How many clients that buy 2-3 houses? Very few. How many clients that are doing 2-3 transactions a year? Investors only. Other than that, who's the one that is going to be doing multiple transactions a year? You guys. Who's the one on the line protecting the client? You guys are. I would love to you guys see when one of my clients go to a builder by themselves first, and then I show up. The tone on the conversation changed like crazy. And I'm just on my phone, on Facebook. They're talking all the shit, and but they don't get funny. If they say something that I know my client doesn't understand, I stop the conversation. Let me explain this on detail. And then I explain to my buyer. And you can see their faces. Oh, now I understand. And at that point, the builder knows that I know, and they cannot be funny with my client. That's why during COVID, they weren't paying too much commission. They didn't want realtors. They wanted the buyers going by themselves to the constructions. Because now they can do the shady things. Yeah. I have one of my clients. I'm going to this builder. I actually go on the first meeting. I tell her, hey, my client has in the account $12,000. That's it. No more, no less. Not 12,500, not 11,900. 12,000 even. If you can make it work, we can sign right now. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, it's gonna be 12,000. Cash at closing. No. I'm telling you, total closing money. Total closing cost. If it's 12,000, we can make it. Oh yeah. We can make it. Blah blah blah. $12,000 cash at closing. Blah blah blah. Okay. We signed the contract and we wrote it down on the notes, on the notepad. She put it on the note. I put it on my notes. The client put it on his notes. Everywhere. I got the first CDA. Cash to close, $12,000. It should have been 10,000 because we put the 2,000 on earnest money. Right? Oh my God. The hell broke loose. I called the sales rep. Hey, I see. Can you please fix the CDA because it's showing 12,000 cash to close, and it should be 10,000. No, it is 12,000 because it was total 14,000 and you put 2,000 down. So the cash to close is 12,000. That's the number that we've been talking about all this time. And I was like, yes, we've been talking about 12,000 all this time, but it's closing costs, not cash to close. It's a huge difference, right? No, that's not what we talk. And I'm like, hey, I have it on my notes. My client have it on his notes. And I specifically told you that if my total amount would have been 12,000, we have a deal. If it was more than 12,000, good night.
Good night, no.
Happy closing.
Thank you.
Happy closing.
And I specifically told you if it was 14,000, we had no deal. That is the only reason that we signed. So how are we gonna fix it? Oh, well, the client need to come up with the 2,000, maybe as a friend, a family member. No, I told you that we don't have that money. I specifically told you that we have only $12,000. I don't know how you're gonna fix it, but you will. No, it has to be to the lender. So she sent me to the lender. I talked to the lender, hey, this is going on, this is happening, blah, 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 blah. How we're gonna fix this? Oh, you need that's on that. I don't know why you talk to the sales rep. Okay. Let me tell you something. Now you're starting to play ping pong with me. She sent me to you. You're sending me back to her. I need an answer today. No, but the in-house lender. No, a few days go by. No, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna escalate. We're gonna talk to the management or whatnot. And okay, unfortunately, this is the lender. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to do anything. So that was not on our mistake. That is on the contract and whatnot. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. We have like 25 days to close. And I'm gonna tell you right now. You made me sign the contract on the presumption that it was gonna be 12,000 closing costs, not cash to close. That was your sales rep. Now let me tell you something. If it's $12,000 cash to close and not 10,000, we're not closing. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that until your people is sitting on the table waiting for my client. And you're gonna be making a lot of work on the loan, and we're just not gonna show up. Bye. I hung up the phone. What happened? An hour later. Hey Sergio, congratulations, everything is fixed. I'm gonna send you the new CDA shortly now, so he can sign it. So they did. What would have happened if my client didn't have a realtor with him fighting for him? I actually have the text message from the lender right after we got the CDA signed. He told me, shit, when I'm buying a house, I would like somebody like you. You really fight for your clients. If you're looking to buy or sell, let me know. But that is important of having a realtor on your side, and that is the value that you need to show to your clients. You need to show the value. You can actually go to NAR, to their website. They have 105, I believe, is different ways that they came up how realtors add value to the clients. I suggest that you go to the NAR website, look for that, and see how you can bring value to your clients. So whenever you get, and this is a subject that you guys need to study a little bit more and learn. As a matter of fact, I believe tomorrow JPAR is gonna have a panel talking about it. I've been talking about the client side, the buyer side, and the seller side. They're gonna be talking more about the legality side of it. So that's why I wanted to do this one, so you can see how to deal with the clients, how to present to the clients. You can put some logic on it. So okay, they don't want to pay. How come? Let's make it make sense. Just make it make sense. Doesn't make sense on anyways. It's gonna come back full circle, because me as a listing agent, I don't want to be driving around all my listings to show buyers that are not even qualified. And then whenever they show up, they don't even want the house. And now I spend my money. And gas. That's the reason that I'm a listing agent, because I don't want to be driving around. I don't want to be driving around. That's why I pursue listings. If I get a buyer, it's because we're doing both. Me as a listing agent. That's the whole reason I don't want to be a buyer's agent. Are you gonna put me now to be driving around? No, I'm gonna pay you for it. Believe me, I'm gonna pay you for it. I don't want to do it. I'd rather be at my office calling people, getting more listings, getting my inventory around. I can get more buyers out of my listings so I can feed you guys. Right? I can give you more listings so you can promote the listings so you can have more buyers. I don't want to be driving around. I was a construction project manager already. I was putting between 300 to 500 miles daily on my car. I was putting 40, 50,000 miles a year on my cars. Do you think that I want to be driving around anymore? Hell no. I found my place. So everything comes to a mindset. You need to really change your mindset, how you approach the business. You need to become better on negotiating. You really need to become better on negotiating. The NAR, yeah. You really need to become better on negotiating for your client. So times are going to change. Real estate is going to change a little bit, and that is going to take the realtors that doesn't bring any value is gonna be taken out of the business. They will. And we are bringing you guys all the training possible, so you are not one of those. That's why we have the weekly classes. Now with JPAR, we had a shitload of classes that you can attend. They're free. They have classes every week. So you need to be watching podcasts. You need to be watching videos, reading books.
And don't get scared. I feel like
and
that
yeah,
will happen, like people just
I'm not
get
even
stressed.
worried about it. It doesn't make me blink for a second that is gonna change for me. I'm doing it that way anyways.
Is this ours?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm like, I just sit down because of that, so I'm like.
So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me a bit. I want you guys getting to the point that you can engage with a client just talking over the phone. When I talk to a client, I can engage with that client over the phone. And a few people have seen that for me. So I have acquired so much knowledge that I can make a client trust me before even meeting in person. I have had clients that I've never met them in person. And that's what I want from you guys. So we need to have the right mindset that we do add value to our clients. We're not just opening doors and showing houses. We need to know our trade. We need to become financially literate. We need to know about finances because those are the main questions that the buyers ask. How is the process? Whenever the client asks you how is the process, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Getting approved. Getting approved. How do you get approved? Well, I don't know. Well, you should. Huh? Which one?
I probably
What if she cannot help? No, what if she cannot help your client?
Or I guess like
Which one do you call?
I just started.
You see where I'm going? How do you know that the next person you're calling to is the one that is actually going to help your client? You need to know their thing. So I already know that Rachel doing self-employed and 1099 people, she's fucking badass. I have saved fucked up transactions with Rachel. The client that I put on a house on December, trucker guy, fucked up taxes. Like a hot mess on the taxes, on the bank statements, on everything. We called the first lender, he dropped the ball. We moved it to another person within the same company, he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball in the middle of the transaction. He told me we cannot close 3 days before closing. Got it to Rachel? Boom, we closed. So glad that I was in communication with the list, this one was a builder. Hey, my client just make a step to the front. Hey, my client just jump. Hey, my client is eating fruits right now. Hey, my client just burp. Hey, my client just took a bathroom break. I didn't want to say I didn't want to say he took a shit. Every single step I was communicating to the builder. So when I told him, hey, the shit just hit the fan, but guess what? I got to figure it out. Okay, Sergio, I trust you.
What
Let's
happens
go.
to the like new builds and like they don't have an agent for the buyer? Do they just go with the sales rep
Yeah.
and she helps them?
She write the contract. She write the contract. She don't help him. Or him. Whatever. Remember, the sales rep is an employee of the builder. Who's they're looking for?
But so if she's not a realtor,
No, they're not.
she's not a realtor, so who writes the contract?
The builder.
Oh, okay. So the builder's gonna do,
The
I
contract.
guess, seller and buyer?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
The builder is selling for sale by owner.
yeah, yeah.
They just have a secretary doing the contract and showing the homes.
Yeah.
But they're for sale by owner. They have their own contract, they have their own closing
Their own
title
lender.
companies, they have their own lenders.
Do they
The-
have their own inspectors too?
they
How
don't
do you
in-
come
they don't
across-
inspect the houses.
For a new build.
You did.
Well, you're
But
right.
it's not required.
It's not required, and they don't like it either.
You're right.
Actually, they tell them when the buyer go by themselves, why do you want to spend $300 on an inspection? We have the city inspecting the house. Save that money. Go on a trip.
Yeah, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did an inspection that they didn't put insulation in the attic. How about that?
yeah.
And it was fully approved by the city.
Did everybody hate?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm like,
You're so good.
I had an inspection that the sink was broken, the plumbing wasn't connected, there was a lot of baseboard broken, there was a window broken, the AC wasn't connected, the dishwasher wasn't working.
Well, I did. For a new build.
You did.
Well, you're
but it's
right.
not required.
It's not required, and they don't like it either.
You're right.
Actually, they tell them when the buyer go by themselves, why do you want to spend $300 on an inspection? We have the city inspecting the house. Save that money. Go on a trip.
Yeah, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did an inspection that they didn't put insulation in the attic. How about that?
yeah.
And it was fully approved by the city.
Did everybody hate?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm like,
You're so good.
I had an inspection that the sink was broken, the plumbing wasn't connected, there was a lot of baseboard broken, there was a window broken, the AC wasn't connected, the dishwasher wasn't working, there was a few power outlets that were wrong wire. The same house. The hot water wasn't working. A new construction.
You could sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
new construction.
yeah.
Before COVID,
Before COVID.
Yeah, my mom.
before the Rona.
Too, before COVID, right before COVID, new construction too, and then they had some problems. I don't think they got it.
Yeah.
They didn't get.
I mean, people believe that just because it's a new construction, it's gonna be perfect. Hey, the person that is building the new construction is the same people that is rehabbing a flip on a 1989 house. It's literally the same people. Not because it's a new construction, it's coming from a manufacturer. You cannot say that from food. Like if you buy the cakes from Costco, it's gonna be exactly the same flavor and texture 100% of the time because it's coming from a manufacturer. Versus if you go to Maria's bakery, today it's gonna taste good, tomorrow it's gonna taste bad because she forgot to put the sugar. See what I mean? Not because it's a new construction, it's perfect. It's exactly the same human beings building the house. Even worse, when it's a huge builder, I'm even more worried about it because now the project manager becomes friend with the city inspector, taking them to lunch, bringing them donuts at the office. You have free coffee, come on, happy hour, let's go out for some beers and whatnot. And now what they do, they have 500 houses. The first 20 houses, they make them buy the book. So they build a trust with the inspector. And then after that, hey, you know what? Yeah, I know you did it right. Okay, forget about it. Give me the type, sign, let's go. I've seen that happen. I was a project manager once in my life. In the Dallas Tollway. I saw that happening. They're going every day to your project. They know you. You have their personal number. You guys became friends. And if it's somebody like me, that I'm shy talking to people, maybe fine. I'm kidding. But if it's somebody that, I mean, to be a project manager, you need to be good dealing with people. You have to. They're gonna become friends. That's part of the deal. So they're gonna start. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I know you've been doing it right. So forget about it. Give me the tag. Boom, sign, approve. But then the guys, they were on a rush because it was 8 p.m. already on a summer. There's still daylight, but they want to go home. You know what? Duct tape. Tying up the plumbing. And I've seen that before. They put the elbow in a toilet. Instead of putting an elbow, a PVC elbow, they put duct tape.
A friend
Yes.
of mine moved to a new construction and they were installing the pool. You know, but those ones that they have already like the feet.
The fiberglass.
And you just, anyway, but that was, you know, in the new construction already, the plan or whatever. And then he called one of the guys that were installing the pool because he had a question or whatever, and he said, you know what, they just fired me. And you know what, they break the sprinkle system or whatever, doing that thing, and he didn't know. I mean, he just told him because they fired him. But he was like, what do you mean they break it? He said, they break some connection. And so he had to wait and dig and find it. They never told him that happened, you know, they just leave it like that. And you know, can you imagine later the water or that was gonna be a mess. But he just told him because they fired him. Otherwise, my friend will never, you know, never know.
A lot of shit happens when you construction.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't like realtors. That's why on the C19, they weren't paying realtors. They didn't want the realtors out there. Now the market shift again, and now they're begging for realtors because they treat realtors really bad in those years. Really bad. So that's one of the things that you can tell your clients why you're so valuable to them. I'm saying again, go to NAR, download. It is, I think, for buyers like 105 ways that you bring value to your buyers. Go take a look and leave by that. That's gonna be your ruler.
And I want to say that this past days, just every single time I go to my Facebook or social media, like everybody's talking about it because I have a bunch of different groups there, right, related to real estate. Everybody's talking about it, so I would recommend you guys. Yes, I mean I do it myself. I do read what other people is saying. But don't go by. Like, if you go directly to the website, I'm pretty sure and actually I think JPAR already uploaded like the actual document where it talks about what's going on and all that, because everybody is interpreting it differently, and that's what's getting us scared, so don't let that happen. I mean, yes, maybe we're not senior realtors, we'll got this. I mean, we just gotta understand how the market is changing and how these things are gonna change the stuff, and then we just have to adapt to that. I mean, and honestly, it's not like at the beginning I was like, what? Because I was ready, and then I was like, okay, I guess I was telling you yesterday, maybe should I look for another profession? Like, I need money. Like, this looks like it's not gonna go, far, whatever. But then, when I actually wanted to read,
Are you there?
like,
I have it until 11. Are you guys booked this one or the other one?
Well, we're this one because we got a bunch of people coming.
Dollar has never
Oh yeah, I'm done at 11 in the
At
morning.
11?
Yeah, I had it from 9 to 11.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be done in a bit.
brokerage. And then from that, they give the buyer's agent whatever the split is. So it's not like, so I would say, yeah, just read, not whatever is in social media, because everybody is interpreting differently, and it's kind of like creating some panic into some people, and don't let that happen to us. Like, you know, we have good support, we have a good company that will provide, you know, whatever we need, the information, and we're here.
Mhm.
And again, if we don't, me personally, y'all know, if I don't know something, what I always say, well, I will find out. I mean, I don't know everything, like, that's why we're here. So don't freak out, yeah, because if you guys overthink it and keep reading the stuff that other people is saying, then you're gonna get scared. And that's, yeah, to me, it sounds like it's, you know, como cuando los políticos, literally, I just feel like they're doing it on purpose. Some people para poder eliminar los que son débiles, los que no tienen esa fuerza. So don't let that happen to you.
And if you look at the news, the people that is actually planting the fear on people, CNN, New York Times, those are the most populist news that you can imagine. Those are the ones that are actually flat out lying on the headlines. The 6% commission is going away. No, it's not. The standard 6% commission is going away. No, it's not going away. It's not a standard either. It's the average, it's the median, but it's not the standard. It's not a set price. There's agents that charge 7%, 10%. Listing agents that charge 10%. If you go on $3 million property, they ain't paying no 6%. Be happy with 4. Be happy with 2.
I mean, everything, you know, sometimes you'll get more money on one deal, less money on another one. So just don't generalize. ¿Cómo se dice? No generalicen. Like,
Yeah.
¿me entiendes? Like, it will be fine.
So typically my rule of thumb is whatever the social media and the media is pushing hard for you to believe, look on the other way. And look information on the other way. 100%. Not just on this, on everything. Whatever the social media and the mainstream media is pushing down your throat, look right on the other direction and look for some information. Because if they're pushing so much for something, there's some political game on it. So don't get scared by it. Go to different podcasts that are more smaller podcasts, smaller people that has lower followers. That's where you're gonna find the truth.
And I was reading, like, there's a lot of people freaking out, oh no, it's mandatory to buy a rep, and I'm like, that's been always
Duh.
a thing. I'm like, you know, we always
By the
give
way.
that to our buyers anyways, so I'm like,
By the way,
I
that
was
became
pretty sure, and she was like, yeah, there's people that they don't give it to
by the way,
buyers. I'm
that
like,
became a thing
that's,
after the listing agreement, a few years after the listing agreement, because what was happening is that the realtor was going to the listing agent. They were signing a contract for the listing agent, paying the realtor a commission, but now they didn't have an agreement with the buyer. So now you have both realtors looking out for the seller and nobody for the buyer. That's why they came up with the buyer's rep agreement. So now both can have representation. So that's the whole thing about the buyer's agreement. Okay, we have 7 minutes before we need to leave. Questions?
oh, because there's another class right
Any other question?
So you just say just to be on the constant lookout in case it does change? Or if they do make that law, I guess, by, would you say July of this year?
No, they are settling the case right now, It just need to be, so the plaintiff agree on the terms.
Yeah.
Now they need to go to the court to be approved. If they approve it, it's gonna take effect on July 24th this year.
So we're gonna be okay, right? I shouldn't be looking for another career.
You need to be looking to get better and better every day on your career.
Nomás échale ganas, ay, no dejen que relajen sus with that is.
You're gonna be, whatever you put the time, you're gonna be successful at. Whatever you put the time. You can go to McDonald's to work right now. If you don't put the work, on McDonald's, they're gonna fire your ass. Don't they?
Yeah.
Right? Go to McDonald's, start working for McDonald's, and don't do your job. Get the hell out of here. Stop on your job. Stop doing your job. What is gonna happen? They're gonna fire your ass.
Are you working in a roofing company now?
One of the customers are getting.
So-
I'm like, roofing.
I'm like, give me your card.
So for you to be successful, you need to put the hours. Wherever you go, you're gonna put the hours. Now, sales is the only job that you can, the sky is the limit. You can do as much as you want. You can do as much as you deserve. It's not given, it's earned. If you don't put the work, you don't get the results. So if you're not having something right now, it's because you don't deserve it, because you hasn't put the work. You put the work, you're gonna get it. Believe me, on
It
everything.
might take time, but it took me time.
Now you decide if you want to put the work on this that you like, or you're gonna put the work on something else. I'm using McDonald's as an example. But where do you want to put the work? And it's gonna take the same time to make it. It's gonna take the same time, because now if you go to another company, you go to another career, you're gonna spend all this time to learn the new career so you can perform at your job. So they're gonna give you 3 months to make it. If you're really bad, they're gonna fire you on the first month. If you're they're gonna give you the 3 months. After that, either you learn and put the hours and put the work and make it, or you don't. So you decide if you want to put the hours, you want to put the work, you want to put the effort on something that gives you the freedom. How nice it is that you can show up at work whenever you want. You don't have anybody on your neck. Hey, motherfucker, do your job. You don't have anybody.
The inspiring words. That's really like, hey, motherfucker. Yeah.
You know who's the one breathing on your neck? The car note, electricity bill, the cell phone bill, the mortgage for those who owns a house.
Oh, man.
It's not a boss. Somebody's gonna be breathing on your neck. You decide who's that. So don't get discouraged. Put the work. Let's make it happen. And get the knowledge. Do the best for your clients. Always looking for your clients. Never look for the money. The money's gonna come. By default, it's gonna come. Okay? Don't chase the money. Chase the purpose. And the money's gonna come.
Let me write that one down.
Literally, I'm like, that's a good quote for
Yeah.
Facebook right now.
Yeah.
Now remember, guys, it's not over until I win.
So we win.